and Cornell Cooperative Extension in New York. And I would like to introduce our presenters for electronic communications in the 21st century. Say what? Introduction of Adobe Spark platforms. So we have Erin Yelland, who's Assistant Professor and Extension Specialist from KState University. She has completed her PhD in Family Science and holds a graduate certificate in gerontology, both from the University of Kentucky. Erin is passionate about aging and improving individual, family, and community health, which ultimately promotes optimal aging. Kylie Ludwig is the Family and Consumer Science Agent for KState Research and Extension. Ludwig is an extension agent in the Wildcat District, which covers 4 counties in southeast Kansas. She focuses on financial management and entrepreneurship. Kylie strives to educate all ages of individuals with financial education and assists in helping foster the entrepreneur's dream. And so those are our 2 presenters. And we also have Greg Price, who is our executive director from ESP on the line as well. Greg, did you want to say anything before Erin and Kylie get started?
No, we're all good. If anyone has any technical problems, you can put something into the chat, and we just remind everyone to keep their microphones muted. That's all we have.
Okay, very good. So I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to turn it over to Erin and Kylie.
Great. Thank you, Arlene and Greg, and thank you to the ESP Professional Development Committee for selecting our proposal to present to you all. Like Arlene said, my name is Erin Yelland, and I'm at KState University. I'm the State Specialist in Adult Development and Aging. And one of the things that I've been incredibly passionate about since starting my job at KState is finding new and innovative ways to reach our current audiences as well as new audiences as well. And Kylie and I have been on that train together, and we have both been playing around with Spark, Adobe Spark, and we think that it is something that the ESP membership would benefit from knowing a little bit more about. We're essentially today going to give you an overview of Adobe Spark, but both Kylie and I are incredibly willing to chat if you have questions or if you're not sure how something can work. So keep that in mind as we go along the way. Kylie and I are going to bounce back and forth between who's presenting today, and she has some expertise to share, and then I'll be sharing some things with you as well. As we go through the presentation, and Arlene just added to the chat box, if you have any questions as we're talking, go ahead and put them into the chat box. And then at the end, Kylie and I can run through the chat box to see what questions you all have. And you can also unmute your microphone at the end, and we can have a back and forth conversation as well. So that being said, hopefully, okay. There we go, agenda. So talking about electronic communication in the 21st century, what is Adobe Spark? These are the sorts of things that we'll be covering today. So first of which is how things have changed. And I'm not gonna spend a whole lot of time on this because if you know how things have changed, that's probably why you're on this webinar today. I'll be providing a few facts about online learning that you might be surprised to learn. Then Kylie is going to go through introducing Adobe Spark videos, and I will do a little bit on Adobe Spark pages. Kylie also has some last minute tips to offer for you guys, and then we will answer questions. So here's me. You've already heard about me. Again, Erin Yelland from KState University. And I'm excited to be on this webinar today. And I'm also the current president of our Alpha Road chapter of ESP here in KState. And so I'm excited that we're able to bring professional development to our members in our state, but also nationwide through these webinar events that ESP hosts. So thank you for the opportunity. I have always loved learning about history, and learning about the history of extension never ceases to amaze me. The photo that I really wanted to include on this slide, I couldn't find anywhere. I know I've seen it a million times, but this is incredibly similar. So this really is historically depicting how we did extension education back in the day. The photo that I really wanted to find, and I'm sure many of you have seen the photo before, is actually of a train in the middle of a field, and the educators are standing up on the back of the train, and all of the farmers and ranchers are there standing around the train receiving education on things that they needed or this would be beneficial to them, for them, and answering their questions, and went and delivered education to the people. This is a very similar photo, and I actually received this one from the University of Alabama's Cooperative Extension System on their History of Extension page, but it's just to highlight, first of all, it's just a really good reminder of how deep our roots in extension are and how far we've come in over 100 years, and how we have, this is how we used to reach people, and how do we need to reach them now? And I know that many of you know that answer, that times are changing. We can't get on the back of a train, and we can't utilize these methods and say if we build it, they'll come, because they might not. And most of the time they're not coming because of these fun devices here. But that's what it used to look like. And now in the 21st century, where is everyone getting all of their information? Again, it's these devices, the one that you're on right now, your computer, or iPad, or tablet, whatever you're watching this webinar from. We know that electronic communication is just driving education, knowledge, communication, connecting individuals together, connecting families together. There's so much that's going on in the electronic world, and I would argue that if extension doesn't keep up with that, we're making ourselves irrelevant, and we're excluding ourselves from generations of individuals and individuals in general who really turn to technology for their information. So how can we harness these tools and these techniques to keep reaching the audiences that we already have, but newer audiences, younger audiences? What about that sort of 25 to 55 range? I know it seems like in some of the work that we do, that I do in extension, seems like, we can get the kiddos pretty good through 4-H and all those sorts of things. And we have a really good contingency of older adult consumers of extension information. But where are we missing those people in those middle years? And that's where we're seeing more and more people turning to electronic means for communication, for learning, and for collaborating and sharing ideas with others. So how can we in extension harness that? Today, we're not going to answer all of those questions. That's a very big beast to handle. But what we're going to be doing is sharing a tool that is incredibly simple and easy to use, that can add some of this technology and multimedia components to your work. So say you already have a pre-existing program or initiative. What we're going to introduce to you today is a way that you can take that farther and perhaps reach additional audiences with that message. The one thing before we get into the nitty-gritty of Adobe Spark, I found this article from the Journal of Extension, and I hate slides with a lot of text, and I actually thought about making an Adobe Spark video to cover this, but then I didn't want to overwhelm you at the beginning. So instead, I just wanted to go through this. But there are 5 distinct advantages of educational technology, and I think they're pretty profound. I don't think that this is going to be a surprise to anyone, but I think that the more we hear it, the more it encourages us as extension professionals to keep moving forward and to keep striving to reach newer, diverse audiences. So it broadens the range of client characteristics, resulting in larger and more diverse audiences. Exactly what I said. The more that we're using educational technology the more individuals and families and producers we're going to be able to reach. Not everyone is going to come to an in-person sit-down program anymore, but they might get on their phone and enroll in an online class or watch a video that you have posted that can help them learn how to live healthier or manage some sort of pest in their crop or whatever it is. We have ways where we can now reach different audiences through technology. The second advantage is that it provides an asynchronous informational access so that the time and place of receiving and processing information are irrelevant. And basically all that means is that we don't have to be in the same place at the same time to learn together. Instead, an extension professional can put together some sort of educational toolkit online and deliver that to consumers, and the consumers can access that on demand. That's really one of the biggest benefits of educational technology. We don't all have to be in the same place at the same time. And as all of us know, everyone has incredibly busy schedules. You know, kiddos these days are involved in so many activities and sports. You know, all of us have, many families have dual career heads of households. So where mom and dad or dad and dad are both working. And it's so just with that and general American society and the way that we live in America, it can be so hard to find time to get people together. And this is one way that you can help address and overcome that barrier. It increases the convenience of accessing technology-based programming, both physically and or geographically. So again, it goes along with the same conversation that I just had back with number 2. But again, we're incorporating that convenience factor. And if anyone knows anything about millennials and those generations that are coming up after them, convenience is huge. And even for our older adults in particular, convenience has always been something that has been valued in American society, and we are continuing to value that even more, especially when it comes to our education and gathering information. This is an interesting one that we need to keep in mind because utilizing educational technology has been shown to decrease the cost of programs, making it possible for more clients to engage in learning, as well as collaborate and communicate with each other, thus enhancing the learning environment and experience. So I just want to throw in a caveat. I hate when people read off slides, but I'm taking this verbatim from the Journal of Extension, and I think it's important that we're all hearing the same message. So utilizing educational technology decreases costs. We can think about all of the ways that it does decrease costs, decreased mileage from an educator having to get from point A to B, decreased costs because then we don't have to reserve a space and pay for it. Maybe then we don't need to buy a new projector because this one just died, but we're offering this class online so we can save that budget item for later. There's so many different costs that we can think about, and the list goes on and on. But by being able to provide some educational technology online, again, we are removing some of those barriers. It makes it more possible for more clients to engage in learning. The same thing I've said before, if I have to take my kiddos to their sports practices and I can't make your educational event, but I can catch it later and watch it on my cell phone in my jammies in bed, I'm still going to be your client because you have offered that opportunity to me. We can also collaborate and communicate with each other through educational technology. So I think this is sometimes sort of one of those qualms for people is, are we removing that physical presence, that interpersonal communication between people when we get together in groups? And to some extent we are. However, educational technology has come such a far way, and Zoom is a prime example of this. Yes, all of us are joining from all across the country, but at the end of this, of what Kylie and I are presenting, we have the opportunity to communicate with one another, even though we're not in the same physical space. There are other platforms as well, such as using sort of like an online live blog sort of thing where you can have conversations back and forth. That's something that we have been trying to utilize with participants in some of our programs, is to allow them a space to have a continuing and ongoing discussion online. So again, utilizing educational technology can overcome a lot of barriers and provide a lot of opportunity as well. And of course, if there's any evaluators on the call, they will be especially excited about this, but really we all should be, because it's everyone's job to be able to evaluate what we're doing and be able to talk about it so that we can really prove how integral extension is within the land-grant university system. The really advantageous thing about educational technology when you're talking about evaluation is that now we have this webinar recorded. It is so easy for us to go ahead and report that this webinar happened. And in the webinar recording, we can see that currently right now we've reached 56 participants. And you'll see at the end of this, Arlene is going to share an evaluation component for you as well. So there's numerous ways that you can incorporate all of these really good evaluation components into a technological presentation or into outreach that uses technology. There's really great ways, again, that we can incorporate all of these things and make sure that we're telling our story as best as possible. So those are 5 things that have come out from a Journal of Extension article in recent years that really focuses on the advantages of educational technology, specifically in the context of extension. And I think they're quite powerful. So keeping these things in mind, now I'm going to turn it over to Kylie, and she's going to share a little bit about how specifically you can do that. And we're going to talk about the tool called Adobe Spark. And Kylie, I'll turn it over to you and you can start the next process.
Thanks, Erin. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited to tell you all about Adobe Spark today. I have been doing Adobe Spark videos for a couple of years now. I went to a meeting, and you know how you go to a national meeting or you go to a conference and you learn something that's great and you're like, I'm going to do that, and then reality hits when you get back to your office and you don't make any time for that, for the new things that you just learned. So this was one of the things a couple of years ago. I said, I'm going to start doing this. And so monthly I do a newspaper article and a radio spot. And so in conjunction with that, I just took that information and I started making Spark videos. So I will run through today what a Spark video is. We'll show you a short Spark video that I've made, and then I'll just walk you through the steps of creating your own Spark video. So, Erin, do you want to flip to the next slide? Thanks. All right, Adobe Spark is the integrated web and mobile solution that enables everyone, especially educators, teachers, and even students, to easily create and share impactful visual stories. Adobe Spark supports 3 story formats. 3 ways to express ideas: Spark Page, Spark Post, and Spark Video. So Spark Video is what we'll focus on today. It's for web and mobile, and it makes it fast and easy to create stunning graphics, web pages, and video stories everywhere for free. There are premium features available, but there are a vast array of options with the free version. Free is what I've been using for the last few years, and free has a lot of options to choose from. It's available on a desktop, an iPhone, an iPad. Last June, it became available on the Android as well. My experience with this program is solely based on the web and the iPad. Projects also sync across all of your devices. So with Adobe Spark, you can easily create beautiful images, videos, and web pages that make it stand out on social. We post our videos on web pages, Facebook, YouTube, and Constant Contact newsletters. And I will say we created a special email address that we use in our district. And so I can put a video up on that When I create a video now, the next step that I've taken is I have a coworker that works in another county a couple of hours away that takes the English version and translate that into Spanish. So she and I are sharing the same email address, and I can upload on that on the iPad, and then she uploads the Spanish context in that same web address. So it's working out really nice to be able to share that. So Spark Video lets you turn your story into captivating, animated, narrated videos in just minutes. Presenting a report, explaining a concept in a class, or telling a personal story has never been easier. Starting with a blank slate or using gentle prompts as a guide, educators and teachers can use Spark to talk through their story one line at a time. They can pick from thousands of beautiful iconic images, or you can use your own. You can even take a PowerPoint that you've made, turn those slides into a JPEG, and then upload that as a picture onto your slide. You select a design, theme, and supporting music. Spark automatically incorporates cinema quality animation. You just tap play and view it on any device or browser, and then you share with friends, family, and the world. If you are an existing Adobe Voice, Adobe Slate, or Adobe Post user, these may sound familiar to you. Those 3 apps have been brought together in the integrated solution that is Adobe Spark and have been renamed Adobe Spark Video, Adobe Spark Page, and Adobe Spark Post. So the graphic that you see on the screen, when you download this to your iPad, I had some people that have never made Spark videos before try to go through the PowerPoint and see what they struggled with. And the first thing she said was, I downloaded the wrong thing. So if you are downloading from your iPad, the symbol that's on the screen right now, that's the symbol you're going to look for. If you've never searched for that before, you're going to have to scroll just a little bit to find that symbol. But that's the symbol to create an Adobe Spark video. Okay, now, so you've heard what Adobe Spark Video is, but have you seen one? Before we get into our presentation today, well, I want to give you an opportunity to see an Adobe Spark video. Hi, I'm Kylie Ludwig, Family Consumer Science Agent with KState Research and Extension's Wildcat District. America Saves Week is quickly approaching. Join now and save. Did you know many Americans are one unplanned expense away from wishing they had a savings account? KState Research and Extension is spreading the savings message and encouraging people to make savings automatic as a part of America Saves Week. It's a great opportunity to help people in our community to set a goal, make a plan, and save automatically. Not sure how much to save each month? Follow the link and take the Kansas Saves Pledge. The pledge will help you create a monthly savings plan and will help you stay committed to your plan all year long. Whether you need help with creating a budget, figuring out what bills to pay and when, or getting a financial checkup, KState Research and Extension will provide research-based information and resources to assist in answering your questions. KState Research and Extension is a source of research-based information. We assist individuals, businesses, and communities in their efforts to find solutions, develop their knowledge base, and better themselves as a whole. So in my opinion, doing live videos is another option that you can to get your message out there. I struggle with ums a lot and not knowing what to say and did it sound okay, and so I feel like with the Spark video it really gives that professional, clean appearance to give to your community. So talking about Adobe Spark, it's free to use, and this is from their a PowerPoint that I found of theirs and some information that they have found, or they have. So it's gonna remain free, but at some point they have added premium features or paid options. So the core functionality though exists today. It's free. There's no bait and switch, they promise. So unlimited hosting and creating content is also free, and they don't plan to stop hosting hosting your content. So rest assured that if hosting were ever to be curtailed, we'll give you a way to download and save all your precious creations. So all the videos that I've made for the last 2 years, I haven't paid for anything. So I've done all of these videos for free. All right, on the next slide, Adobe Spark, a web application or an app. So it's available in 2 ways. Adobe Spark can be used from your favorite desktop web browser on both Windows and Mac machines, as well as Chromebooks. The web application supports all 3 Spark formats in one integrated environment. Adobe Spark can be used on iOS device, both iPhones and iPads, using the Spark mobile apps. And there are 3 Spark apps, one for each Spark format. So you can use any or all that you see fit. Students are likely to work on multiple machines and devices, so they've built syncing right into Adobe Spark. This way, a student can start working on an iPad, continue editing on a Chromebook, and then they also work from home on a desktop, and so on. Adobe Spark truly is a complete integrated solution. So let's get started on how to create an Adobe Spark video. Usually I just go to Google and type in Adobe Spark, and it's the first option that pops up on the Google search. Once you click that link, this is where you start. So you can see here on the screen, I've got some purple circles showing you where to start. So adobespark.adobe.com. You sign in and you can start creating and sharing. If you're using your iPhone or iPad, it will also ask you to visit spark.adobe.com for the links to the iOS app, or just look for Adobe Spark in the App Store. So remember, the 3 options are Adobe Spark, Spark Page, Spark Post. We're focusing on Adobe Spark today, but I'll tell you a little bit about each format. So there's no right way or wrong way to share an idea or tell a story. So here are the suggestions that I have. A Spark video will narrate a movie and is thus best suited for an oral presentation. The types of storytelling that you may have previously used slide software before. So a Spark page is highly visible text-based story. Think of it as a word processor and you wish you had when you were in school. As such, it is ideally suited for text-based objects and assignments that involve a lot of photographs. A Spark post is an image optimized for social media. If you're going to be posting ideas or linking, including links to videos and page stories, then post helps you create the compelling attention grabber that you need. Adobe Spark formats can also be used together. So you can create a Spark video and embed it in a Spark page. Or you can create an image with Spark posts and use it in a Spark video or a Spark page. So to create a killer page or video story, you can use Adobe Spark and create social media images to drive traffic to your other creations. Okay, so the first thing that we did, we clicked on the slide. Oh, on that previous screen, the circle in the middle, I've circled American history here. This is where you're trying to decide graphic, web page, or video. This is the one that I always use to make the slideshow video. Okay, so the next screen that pops up once you click that is this. Here you're going to put in the title of your video you're going to be working on. This is what it would save under. Once you have the title in place, you click Next. So here is where you decide if you want to them to walk you through the story and you want to put the story together from scratch. The templates are set out for you and it asks you a series of questions. The Scratch template is just blank slides and you can create each one how you want. I usually start from scratch, so I just click the red button. Up here, this is what you're going to look at when you first see the Spark. Once you clicked the Start from Scratch, you have these options up here. So this is where the magic happens. In the upper right-hand corner, you will see the purple circle. On this screen, you're picking the layout of this particular slide. Each slide can have a different layout. I feel that it is also important to note that you can create a slide, like I said earlier, in PowerPoint, convert those to photos, and then upload them into these slides. You can also add voiceover with the slides. So the slides are a good option because you can use your specifically created slides with your state logo, any word marks, or multiple pictures, where the Adobe Spark layouts are specific to what you see. So you have full screen, split screen, so this could be words and a picture, or one big picture, or a picture with some title and text over it. So the next thing that you'll focus on is the theme. And this is going to be consistent throughout. So you have all of these lined up here on the side as choices. And then you also have color options as well. So like if I clicked on flare here, it would pop up color options as well too. This doesn't change throughout the layout. Here you have multiple options, but they will remain same. So if I picked this title one throughout the whole, I picked this theme and this color, all my slides will be this font and this color. If I click it to red, it would all be red with this font. Another option that you have is the widescreen or square screen. I post all of our stuff to, I save it to my computer, I post it to our YouTube page or Facebook, and it goes on our website. I've only used the widescreen. I'm sure there's options for the reason that you could use square, but widescreen works for me, and so I just stick with that one. All right, the music selection is your next option. Here you see that it says add music, and I will say that the individual that I had try this out who had never used Spark before, she tried to download, it says it would download music from iTunes, but she could never get that to work. All of these choices right here are different types of, it's all a different sound. So you have warm sounds, uplifting, thoughtful, there's a lot of options there. So the music is also the same as the theme. It stays the same throughout the whole video. You're able to adjust the volume as well. So if you are previewing your video and the music seems too loud or not loud enough, you can use this bar right here and change the adjustment of the volume to the appropriate level. Now what I've circled is the red record button. And I just want to point out that the plus box here is how you add a new slide. It adds a slide after whatever slide you're on. So if you're on slide 6, it's going to add, the next slide is going to be slide 7. If you happen to be on slide 3 and you think you're adding to the end, it's going to add it at slide 4 instead of slide 7. So before I start creating videos, I couldn't decide what I wanted to make my video about. So again, I just did the radio and monthly news column. It was an easy fit to take that information that was heard or read and to make it visual as well. My videos are based off of them, and I make special ones for programs that are going on or timely topics. So for example, September is National Preparedness Month, and Kansas does something called Prepare Kansas. It runs the entire month of September, and we created English and Spanish weekly videos that followed the ready.gov weekly focus. So we joined up and created videos that way. So now you've decided your layout, your theme, music, and topic. Next, you have a couple of ways to create your slides, and I'm certain you will find a way that works best for you. What I have started doing is taking my newspaper article, breaking down the information into a Word document of what I want to say on each slide. Then I have a script to work with. And it's important to realize that each slide has a max of 30 seconds or less. If you can't fit it all into one slide, you can always duplicate your slide, and you do that by right-clicking, and it pops up some options, and continue working on the next slide. When you record, it's important to, like right now, if I was going to record in my office, I make sure I've shut my email off, I have closed my door, and I wear just a headset with a microphone. I think that that's the ideal option. The clarity is going to be better and more professional than just using the speaker on your computer. When I made videos on my iPad, I did just use the iPad speaker, and the sound wasn't bad. If you had somebody outside your office and you could hear them laughing, like you could probably hear them laughing in that slide. It's wise to, when you record off of the computer, it's important to click down on the red record button and kind of wait a second before you start speaking, and then do the same thing at the end. Because if you don't, it kind of seems like you've cut off your words. I'm not sure if I said it in another slide or not, but another really great thing about Adobe Spark is say the phone rings and I need to take a call, or someone's in the office to see you. You don't have to re-record everything. Each slide is individually recorded, so it doesn't mess up another slide. I like that. Okay, these slides have options, so you might want to insert a video and talk over it, like a picture of someone putting healthy groceries into their cart, or you might want to put a video on how to make sheet pan meals. So a video is going to add depth to your videos, will add depth to your Spark and make you feel like you're not watching a PowerPoint just slide after slide. So I've just started trying to add videos into my Adobe Spark, and what I've finding is B-roll, or it's those types of clips that you see on the news where they show people working out in a gym while they're talking about New Year's resolutions. It's hard to find those that are free. So what I've found so far, unless somebody knows something different, we're gonna have to create those ourselves. So if I wanted to make a sheet pan meal, for example, when I go to the grocery store, I'm going to take a 15-30-second clip of all the vegetables, and then so it would have a video and then me talking about maybe picking out the right produce for your sheet pan meal. Sometimes you might just want to put words or a link on the screen. So on the split screen, you can do a picture on one side. So over here on the right, you see split screen. You can do a picture on one side and a photo on the other. Or you can do two photos and then add words over the top of them. So once you start creating videos, you'll see that there's actually a number of options that you can do. And then at the end of the video, I have, the further you get into this, the further things that you're like, oh, I can try this, or I should have been doing that. So you can start adding your own credits at the end. You can add that you were the speaker, what your job title is. You could add your business website, any personal photos that you may have uploaded to give them credit there. If you use Adobe Spark stock photos, they'll have those sources listed on there as well for you. So, you know, just letting a person know, it's another way to let a person know that you are who you work for, and giving them your website and giving them an opportunity to go check out more information that you have. All right, once your video is complete and you've made all the edits you want, then you can preview up in the middle of the screen where I have the circle, or the down on the bottom left, which is this little arrow here, where the arrow is. The share button is how you can create a link and share it other places. The download button is usually what I do. We're trying to have people go more to our website instead of driving them to something else. And so I download it to the computer, and then you can use that link on social media, YouTube, your web page, etc. So some things I've learned, some quick tips here. Keep the videos short. I shoot for 3 minutes or less, and I've actually been starting to shoot for 2 minutes or less. Stick to one topic per video. Too many avenues, they may click off the video or be lost in what they're trying to learn. Shorter videos will fit on the social media platforms. The platforms may have time limits. So for example, 220 is the max for Twitter. And I think that maybe Instagram has a smaller, like, minute or seconds that you can upload to there too. So giving them a call to action, like an America Saves video, would encourage them to go to the link and learn more information. If I would have had more time, I would have tried to connect that back to our website to give them some education that way too. If you lead them back to your web page or YouTube page, wherever you want them to go, you can lead them, you're going to lead them to more of that research-based information that we have to provide. So you want to mix the video and text photos through the video, so giving a variety of media on the slides, it helps a person not to zone out. So you know when you're watching something and it just gets monotonous and you're not listening to what you're hearing, giving them, not doing all text, not doing all just pictures, is going to keep them engaged.
Okay, now that I've unmuted myself successfully, Kylie has provided an example of a Spark video that she created and has run you through some of the basics of Adobe Spark. And then I'll share with you an Adobe Spark video that I've created. I actually have the paid version on my account because we are using it for a variety of grant projects, which has allowed us the funds to do that. That being said, it's not that expensive. I can't remember the exact cost off the top of my head, but it wasn't a painful price to pay. But But you can see from what Kylie has shared with us that it is incredibly easy to do this. The first time I heard about Adobe Spark, and I believe it might have been from Kylie, I was like, oh gosh, it's just going to be so complicated and so difficult to learn this new technology. And I will tell you that it is incredibly simple. And it is very much a point and click and type and that sort of thing. I went to a workshop one afternoon and was learning about all different types of technology, Adobe Spark Video being one component of that. And by the end of that afternoon, I came out with an Adobe Spark Video that was sort of a year in review about my family and my kids. So it can be done pretty quickly. And like Kylie said, something else that I really love about Adobe Spark is that you can work on it here and there. How many of you have ever recorded a webinar before where you had to lock yourself in your office for an hour and record the whole thing at once for someone to see later? You don't have to do that in this situation. All of your work is saved. You can record, like Kylie said, a slide at a time. So if you have, a few minutes break in your day and you're working on this video, you can do that. And it automatically saves on the website, which is absolutely wonderful. So I can't reiterate enough how easy it really is. Some of the other questions that I've been asked about Adobe Spark are, where do I find videos? Where do I find pictures? And Kylie mentioned that, yeah, finding videos can be a little bit more difficult. But I will say that Adobe has partnered with Unsplash and Pixabay. I believe they have both of them now, which are sort of community commons sites for photos. And they are beautiful, some of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. And you can access them for free. Then when you use that picture from their little drop-down menu, all these pictures will pop up. It automatically gives the credit where credit is due. So I know that's something that we're oftentimes worried about in the multimedia technology world, is that we're not giving credit for images or videos or things like that. All of that is automatically done for you by Adobe Spark, which is wonderful. So I'll go ahead and share this video that I made. And you can see that because it's the paid version, it doesn't have the Adobe Spark logo on the bottom right. And you will also see at the end the credits from the photos that I've used as well. And as I saw a question come through, and we'll address it more in depth later, but Adobe Spark, because there's so many options and ways that you can work around things, it's quite simple to brand it with your university and your colors and work around that. So here is another Spark video example.
KState Research and Extension is here to give you 4 quick tips on creating healthy habits. Living a healthy lifestyle can lead to longer, happier lives. And whether you're a future leader or a current one, it's always the right time to practice healthy behaviors. Making small changes can substantially reduce your risk of costly and preventable diseases. And regardless of your abilities, there are always steps you can take to live a healthier life. So how can you make healthy living a habit? The first step to making new habits is to know your current ones. Whether they're good or bad, understanding your current habits can help you decide where you want to change. And you can start by making a plan. What are 3 things you would like to change in your life? Targeting small, specific, and reasonable goals can help you achieve success. But start small. Don't try to climb the mountain on the first day. So if you eat donuts 3 times a week for breakfast, next week, let's try for 2. You get the idea. Small changes can make a big difference. Now here are a few ideas to help you stay on track. Try to focus on changing one behavior at a time and realize that change doesn't always happen overnight. And if it's helpful for you, find an accountability buddy that can help you stay on track and celebrate your successes. So what habit would you like to change first? Start with these 4 simple steps to help you achieve your goal.
So you could see at the end there that the last thing that flashed up before K-State Research and Extension was the credits. And then because I have K-State Research and Extension's logo embedded into my Adobe Spark profile, there is a place for you to upload your logo. And so then it'll automatically come up at the end as well. So that's kind of neat with being able to specialize the platform so that it does include your logo and your material. That video that you just watched, we had put together pretty quickly for a grant project. We were trying to get out some information on healthy living pretty quickly. And I put that together. Obviously, the research was already there and we knew much of the information, but the actual time to create that video and get it polished was about 45 minutes or less. And now the more you play with Adobe Spark, the quicker and easier it's going to be for you to make videos and to learn how to do new things. One of the things I absolutely love is, and Kylie showed us this, is that they script out everything for you. So there's not all of these crazy changes that you need to make. The font's going to be the same, the theme's going to be the same, the song's going to be the same throughout. There's not a whole lot of options that you have, which actually makes it easier for us in the long run, because then we're not constantly going back and forth in exploring all these different things. But they all look beautiful and work wonderfully at the end of the day. So next, we've talked a little bit about Adobe Spark Video, and I just want to quickly go over Adobe Spark Page. And I have used Adobe Spark Page with a grant project. And so the page that you're looking at right now, I took a screenshot or a little snip of one of the Adobe Spark pages I've created where we're talking about the social determinants of health and food as a social determinant of health. So you can see on the page, imagine that this is a full-blown website because that's what it is. So on the right side of the page, we have this beautiful picture. I mean, has anyone seen a more beautiful picture of food? Right there on the right-hand side, super high quality image. And then on the left, literally all I had to do to put this information in was type it. And the rest of it happened for me. So food, I selected that I wanted an H1 heading. And then this paragraph underneath was a paragraph. Then the 3 major issues related to food are availability, accessibility, and affordability. I selected I wanted an H2 heading for that. It is so super simple to create these pages. And if my computer likes me, it will take you to the page I would like it to take you to. Let's see if it'll work. I have to share a different thing here. Okay, I'm just going to share this. So this is an Adobe Spark page that I have created that looks at your genes, your choices, your health. So really we're talking about different influences on your health from your personal standpoint. But I will quickly scroll you through it, hopefully not make you sick, but you can see you have a place where you can put just general information across the screen, and then you can have this split where you have a picture on one side and words on the other. And here we're talking about the impact of genes on health. And so I was able to go through the Adobe Spark platform and found this super cool picture of who knows what on the left-hand side and bring it in. And it really adds a lot of oomph to what we're seeing. You can also see here, I was able to just click a button and add these little quotation marks. There's all sorts of things you can quickly do. Here, I have incorporated a TED Talk. I simply embedded a TED Talk into this web page. And it was as simple as literally pressing a little plus sign button and hitting that I wanted to put in a video. And I posted the link to the YouTube video that I wanted. And boom, there it is. That was all I had to do. It's really super simple. Here's another YouTube video that I've incorporated in it as well, and some more. You can see here, you can also add links to outside sources. So here we're talking about the importance of family history on your health and knowing your family's history. So I've had a video that I think came from the CDC or some other source on the importance of family health. Then underneath of it, here I have a link that takes participants to a resource that helps them document their family health history. So you can see on an Adobe Spark page, it's an easy way to essentially create an interactive website for free. You can do this for free, even though I do have the paid version, and give people all of these resources and access as well. I'll just continue scrolling through. You can see here incorporated more pictures, more videos, lots of fun things to do. Then at the bottom, of course, you can put in your own references. And then again, how I mentioned credits, all of the credits from the pictures that I took from Adobe Spark have already been credited there. So I don't have to worry about any copyright information or any copyright infringement on that end. So let me stop sharing that screen and I will go back to our PowerPoint here. So that was it.
Erin, this is Arlene. We have a couple of questions in the chat. Do you want me to wait till the end or should we address some of those now?
I am just about done and then I will pop over to those questions.
Okay, great.
Thanks. Okay. So just a quick example, I took a screenshot. So this is when you start an Adobe Spark page, this is what it looks like. You put your title in. I titled it How to Create a Spark Page. And then this is the most important part. So you also saw this when Kylie was talking about creating an Adobe Spark video. Here you get to select exactly what you want. Do you want to insert a photo, a text, a button, which is a link that'll send you somewhere else? A video? Do you want to, the split layout is what you saw a lot on the Adobe Spark page that I just shared. It's so simple and so easy to create. Then if you choose that split image, all you have to do then is click on that add your image and it takes you to that repertoire of free photos that you can access and they're absolutely beautiful. And then all you have to do to add the information on the right-hand side is just click that little plus sign and start typing. So I encourage you all that it really is as easy as hopefully we've made it seem. A lot of it is point and click. And if you're not pointing and clicking, you're clicking and typing. So it's incredibly easy to use. And it has been very effective in reaching multiple audiences that Kylie and I both work with. So at this time, we will go through some questions, and I have the chat box pulled up here so I can see. Oh, some questions about that picture at the beginning. I love those historical pictures. They're always so fun. Claire asked, can you upload university template fonts and colors? So you can upload the logo, but it's a little bit more difficult. So for example, and if you're really into creating images and stuff like that, you know that each university has their hex numbers, their specific color. So KState, we have a very specific purple. It's 512888 is the hex number. When you create this stuff so much, these sort of get ingrained in your brain. You cannot go to that level of specificity with this program, but you can see in the videos that both Kylie and I shared, I don't think anyone would argue that those were not KState Research and Extension branded. Because you can use a slide like Kylie did that pops up the KState Research and Extension logo, that sort of thing, there's still ample opportunity to provide that branding, even if you're not using the specific colors and all those sorts of things consistently throughout. Now remember, a lot of the text that you're going to see on Adobe Spark videos and pages is going to be black or white for the most part, unless you choose one of those more color themes. So when you have, you know, a picture on one side and text on the other, that text is going to be black. If you're putting text over top of a picture, it's generally going to be white. So there's not a whole lot of room there, but it's also easier that way, and we know it's going to look good in the end. Chelsea says it would be great to have a database of short video clips available for free educational uses. If any universities have started this, please let us all know. And I do not know of that, but good golly, what a good idea. My personal soapbox is that we don't need to all be reinventing the wheel. And I know that I'm happy to share videos, and I'm sure Kylie would be as well, but it would be a really wonderful repertoire of resources to be able to share these things. Laura, I think that's Laura Lee, said that $9.99 was what she saw for the cost of having the paid version of Adobe Spark. Colby says Spark Video is self-explanatory. What's the difference between Spark Post and Spark Page? So Spark Post is very much simply where you're going to create a graphic that you can share on social media. That's the most basic way to explain it. So if you want to create some sort of infographic or eye-catching, appealing flyer, for example, that you want to post on social media about an upcoming event or initiative, then Spark Post would be what you want to use for that. Spark Page is what I just went through and scrolled through most recently, and that's creating a web page. And that's hosted on Adobe's platform. It's never going to go away, and it's really easy to have access to. With some of my Spark pages, yes, the link can be quite cumbersome and long. So what I've then done is created a little bit.ly. So you go to a link shortener. And so instead of the link being, you know, adobespark.com/JFQ77 whatever, then I have that bit.ly/KState Health or something or other. So there's ways to get around that as well and make the pages more accessible and more easily found.
Erin, could you explain what a bit.ly is and where you would find that?
Yeah, so a bit.ly is one of the types of a link shortener. There's other types as well. Bit.ly is used pretty common. So essentially what you do, it's bit.ly, but if you just Google bit.ly, bit.ly, it'll come up. And what you're going to do is insert a full web address. So if it's like what I said, adobespark.com/JFQ blah, 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 it's going to take that and create its own link that's shorter. So, and you saw one in Kylie's presentation, in Kylie's video, she had a shortened link to more information. So if you're going to put a link to more information somewhere, instead of having that link, that web link that's 2 lines long, instead you can have a bit.ly that's bit.ly/7958. Super easy, super quick to post on something, and for people to be able to perhaps remember it, but definitely not get overwhelmed by those links that can turn into 2 pages long.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Cheryl Carson asks, do you transfer photos straight from the web so that the credits can be listed, or can a person save photos for use as time allows while creating the Adobe Spark video? Okay, so on Adobe's platforms, they have, you can go in and press add video or add photo, and you can say upload your own. So you can upload any photo that you want, that you receive from anywhere, or you can use one of theirs. So when you use one of theirs, it'll come from, so the 2 major sites are Unsplash and Pixabay that have really beautiful photos that are on this common site. And even on those, you can save those photos. You can save and download those photos for your own personal use. One of the photos that I actually have on my desktop background is from Unsplash, and I downloaded it and saved it just because it was such a beautiful photo. So you can get those photos from anywhere and upload them into your Adobe Spark page, posts, or videos, and then save them as well. I hope that answers your question. Okay, and yes, the pages are hosted on Adobe Spark. Are Spark pages and videos able to be found by anyone via Google, or can you hide them? My immediate thought is that I think you can hide them or make them public. I'm trying to think, because I know you can do this with YouTube. When you put stuff up, you can make it public or private. And I think it's the same with Adobe Spark pages. Oh, I know it's the same with the pages, because we had to work with this for a grant project. Some of the content wasn't ready, but I needed to share the link with my students so they could go through and review it. So I published the link, but didn't make it public, so no one else could find it unless they had the specific link. So yes, so you can keep it private. So for example, and this could come into play with some extension programs, if this is something you're charging for, a program that you're charging for, and there's some aspect of online education, you can keep the link private and only give the link to people who have paid for the product. If it's something that you want to have readily available for free, you can make it public, and then it will come up on Google searches and things like that. Okay, so I know we are at the appointed hour, and I went through all of the questions that we had in our chat box, but is there anyone else on the line that's dying to ask Kylie or I a question? Oh, good. Colby says we're lucky here at NC State that we all have a paid subscription with Adobe Creative Cloud that includes all 3 Sparks. And that is wonderful, and what a great resource for you guys to have at NC State. Okay, well, I will go ahead and flash up on the next screen. Here's Kylie and I's information. You can email us, give us, shoot us an email. We're happy to answer any questions. Even if you're sitting down creating your first Spark video and you don't know what to do next, email us. She and I have done this so many times. We're certainly willing to answer any questions that you have. Okay.
Well, Erin and Kylie, on behalf of ESP, thank you for such a great presentation. I think most of the questions have been asked, and we will save the chat as well. So those who have questions, hopefully we can email those answers out if Kylie and Erin have that opportunity. And you should be receiving an evaluation after this session, and we would appreciate if you could fill that out. Greg, is that coming in as an email, or will that pop up on the screen after we leave this meeting?
It'll come as an email.
Okay. Great. And so, Erin, is any parting thoughts you and Kylie would like to share with people?
I just encourage you to take a little bit of time and try and play around with it and figure it out. At first, it was a little bit overwhelming for me, but Kylie encouraged me, download the app and sit in your bed at night and play around with it. And it really helps just to try and mess around with it. And the more you do, the more you learn. And it's really so simple. And I really believe that it helps us in Extension reach broader audiences. Kylie, do you have anything to share?
Well said. Like I can get a Spark video done now in like maybe 20 minutes. So it really, once you get the hang of it, it really is something very quick that you can do.
Okay, great. Well, thank you both for inaugural call for 2019, a webinar on Adobe Spark, video tutorial and the page tutorial. Thank you all very much, and everybody have a good afternoon.